Hey everyone, I'm Mark DeGrasse, and you're listening to the AI Branding Podcast, where we talk everything branding, marketing, content, and AI. Today, I have my friend Mike Montague on the show, and we're going to talk about probably a few things. We actually already chatted for like 20 minutes prior to this starting about a bunch of random AI stuff, but we're getting focused right now, and we're going to talk about modern sales and kind of how to find your good salespeople, how to do good sales, and then also the interaction between sales and say your marketing or your product development. So welcome, Mike.
Hey, great to be here. You were on my podcast, the Human First AI Marketing Podcast. So I'm happy to return the favor and flip the script here. I have done so many podcasts in my career. It's just always nice to be a guest. Let
Yes.
you do
No,
the heavy
I
lifting and the work on this one.
that's how I was when I was on your podcast. Now I just see like podcasts and I assume that like, oh yeah, I'm probably hosting that. And then sometimes you get lucky and you're like, oh no, I don't have to do anything. I just have to answer questions. But no, great having you on and you get the flow. It's nice to talk to other podcasters too, because they're like, oh yeah, and here's where I pass you the ball, and then you say something else.
Yeah, exactly. You know that somebody can respond and go with the flow or know when to stop talking is also
Mm.
a great skill
It
for
is.
podcasting.
Well, and that kind of leads us into sales. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
exactly.
because we have, a lot of companies are starting to look at, the AI sales agents, the chat bots, that kind of stuff for, I to me, I always look at it as like, it's maybe like a prospecting tool, but when it comes down to actually making a sale, like I don't know a replacement for humans yet. Are you seeing the same thing?
I think it's all across the board. There's an analogy that I love. I don't know exactly where it started, but the Terminator versus Iron Man
Mm.
analogy. So if you're a sci-fi fan, the Terminator version of a sales agent is we make this autonomous, AI robot that is going to go like hunt down a lead and, capture it and bring it back. And we're sending it out on this mission and it's running all by itself. Iron Man is a human, Tony Stark, who's a genius, who's funny and charismatic inside a suit. So he's wrapped in
Mm.
technology and he's got Jarvis in his ear giving him more information or flashing stuff on the screen. So he has some data and insights into what's going on. And it's enabling him to become a superhero.
Mm.
And so what I'm focused on at Avenue 9 is the second part, building Iron Man, not Terminator. But I do think that I know you talk about this too. There are different roles for different things. If you're selling something on Amazon and it's pretty basic, I ordered a new doormat for the winter here or something. I probably don't need to talk to a human to order a rubber doormat for snow removal on shoes. Um, but I could use an AI agent to say, hey, go, give me the top 10 best-selling brands and rank the reviews of why and price points and stuff. And that kind of data exchange is nice. And that kind of insight is great. But if I'm in an enterprise sale and I have to build consensus across the purchasing department, HR, IT, and legal, and whoever is also the end users, AI is not going to do that job. We're going to need a human, if not multiple humans, involved in an enterprise level sale. And I don't see that being automated anytime soon.
No, I don't think it can be because if you think of all of those touch points, and you see this just running a simple chat on most of the AI where it's like, oh crap, I'm 10 deep and now it's starting to repeat stuff and it doesn't understand. And it'll even
Yeah.
tell you like, I don't know what you're talking about when you continue just like a string of questions. It'll be like, nope, don't remember that. And like it's in the first prompt, go back. So yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
we got a
And
ways
I
to
think
go
it may
there.
get there. I mean, I've seen some demos, especially like the cold calling agents and stuff,
Mm.
where if you go on wine.com and you look at a box of wine or something, you abandon your cart, they can have an AI robot call you and say, "Hey, Mark, I saw you were looking at the 1997 Merlot or whatever. That box just went on sale or case. I guess nobody's buying a box of wine,
Box of wine.
but the case went on sale. Would you like it for 15.99 a bottle? It'll have that conversation with you, ship it to you, process the order, and even handle some objections or laugh at jokes and
Mm.
interesting things that make it, better than most humans are not real great at cold calling in the first place. They don't handle rejection. And so I think you could make an argument that if this is the worst AI cold callers will ever be, that they could still be better than some, if not most, human cold callers anyway. They get frustrated and they're reading off a script and stuff and not having human interactions from their call center in the first place. Um, I
You know,
think that's fascinating. It's not a
I
world I
think
want to live
that's,
in, but you could make an argument where it could be better than making a human do 1,000 cold calls and read off a script,
you
and
know,
may even get better
what's funny
results.
about that is that I think sometimes you don't want to talk to a human because let's say that you're looking for a car and you drove by a car lot and you're like, man, I really want to call to find out about that car. But if I talk to a salesperson, all I want to know is the price. Like, just tell me the
Yeah.
price. But you know, they're going to be like, oh, well, that one's actually sold and we've got these other two in the back. If you just come into the shop and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, no, just give me the price. You know, it's why Carvana and like
Yeah.
those easy solutions came, it was mainly because of the salespeople, I would say. And so there are
Yeah.
cases where you're just like, I don't want to talk to a human because then I'm going to have to explain what I want and they're just going to keep on trying to sell me. Now, you could program an AI to be the same way, but I think if you use it as that kind of like first touch point, like, hey, the price is this, and I don't have information about our available inventory, but if you're interested in that price, I could connect you with a salesperson. And then it's like the, vetting.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
not bad.
A little pre-qualification and
Mhm.
stuff isn't bad there. Now, on the flip side, I've seen some really cool stuff with like what I call the Iron Man version,
Mhm.
right? Which is human sellers can have sentiment analysis on their call recordings. It can be grading your calls and telling you what you did and right and did bad. Obviously, the call recording and transcripts and AI summaries of action items can be dumped right into the CRM system. CRMs can be alerting you in lead scoring or deal scoring, which ones need your attention and which ones don't. Buyer analytics can be giving you insights into who you're talking to. So that next call on your calendar pops up and you already have a summary in your email that says like, hey, you're talking to Mark. He's going to be fast talking or articulate. You need to move quick. And he's interested in A, B, and C. And, based on his previous actions, here's where he is in the buying cycle. All that is great information to create like a superhuman seller. And I think some of those tools are really cool and they're only getting better to make salespeople better.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point because I think it's if you just use the tools to again, that's the robot work versus human work that we talked about earlier, where it's kind of like, okay, what should a human be doing? Do you want your salesperson to sit down, go through the 500 fields in Salesforce and try to mark everything properly? Otherwise, they get yelled at by the manager and they saved it up for a week because they really didn't want to do it. So now they don't even remember half the conversation.
Right. Yeah,
Or an
exactly.
AI, and even for the follow-up task where it's like, like, hey, you had a meeting and it was an hour long. Turns out the only thing that you decided was to have the next meeting. And you're like, oh, that was a waste of time. But that's the kind of stuff that you would not want a human sitting down, reviewing the notes, doing the transcription. Like it's a waste of time. And honestly, we're just not good at it. So
Yeah.
why not push that off? Now, if you want a really cool tool that I thought of, I'm like, Zoom will probably do this eventually, would be a truth analyzer, where basically
Ooh.
it analyzes like your voice footprint, like the cadence, like all these things, and it gives you like a percentage in the corner that says like this is 95% likely to be truthful. And then you're like, and when do you want to start? And they're like, well, I'm thinking in 2 months. And it's like, lie.
That was a lie.
That was a lie.
um, that is funny. I'm sure there will be because I've already seen the ones like I said with sentiment analysis
Mm.
where I don't think it's real great for sellers during a call to see like, red lights flipping on the screen whenever you say something dumb. But it is great afterwards to say, oh, you missed it here. When you said this, like two people checked out or had micro expressions of,
Uh,
anger and disgust versus excitement and saying maybe next time you don't say it that way and stuff like the coaching afterwards is great. And you hit on something there that I love to talk about in this context, which is the time that we're actually doing human tasks of having a conversation with another human being. That's not what we should be replacing. What we should be replacing is all of the non-selling time. It's gotten so ridiculous in recent years, especially in the pandemic and stuff, that like 70% of the time, salespeople are not
yeah.
interacting with clients and buyers. They're doing other admin tasks and other busy work or reports or making presentations and pitch decks and follow-up emails and all that stuff that really that we can have the AI do. But trying to make an AI replace a human in the conversation is fool's gold. That's pretty dumb to do. But how can we give the seller more talk time, and how can we make that talk time better, more efficient, and effective? I think those are really great
Oh yeah.
conversations.
Well, that's again, human work versus robot work, but it's like imagine you could work for several hours less a day. And this is what I'm trying to encourage businesses to do, because let's say that you can automate 50% of a job. Do you say, "Hey, jerk, now you're going to do 50% more of the good stuff?" Or do you say, "Hey, you know what? You got everything done. You're caught up. Like, why don't you leave at 3 o'clock every day and get paid like you're working until 5?" Like, how many people would leave that job? Probably zero.
Yeah, it's fun. I think very few companies will do that. What I've
Uh,
been thinking about, and I don't know about you, but I get this question all the time with AI. It's like, well, will we be able to fire half of our sales force if we can do the job in 50% of the time? And I think based on what we've seen in previous technological revolutions is the answer is no, especially in sales and marketing that we do. No company's ever been, you know what? We'll take the exact same number of leads. We'll just pay half the price. Like they want double the leads. Like they'll keep those investments. They just want to hire twice as many people or to get that person to get twice as many leads and sales in the door. So, maybe if it's a production task, they will be layoffs like we've seen with code developers and stuff in Silicon Valley. But I think for sales and marketing people, it's good news that we're probably just going to work the same number of hours, but be expected to produce twice as much stuff.
well, that's,
Pretty much.
because you will have those one person sales departments. I mean, I think we've all done that at some point where you're like, it's up to me to put literally, you're the head of
Yeah.
marketing. And then there's that, like that meme, with, who was it? Oh, the soccer couple. Anyways, but basically it's like, be honest. And it's like, oh, I was the only person on the team. And that's probably coming back around. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what we train at the academy. Because what I really thought was that what happened, why people don't have good brands, because if you look at brands most of the time, you only find like a couple good ones where you're like, man, that brand has their crap together. Most of the time they're $1 million brands, and they have their crap together, but they probably have a hardcore team of people that are constantly hammering on it, which small businesses can't have. So my whole concept was, hey, just clarify the vision and then use AI to propagate it, and then give everybody AI tools to help them make the decisions for keeping it on brand. Because all that wasted
Yeah.
time that we're talking about is really just debates and arguments and ego and power plays. And, I want to raise, and I hate that guy or I hate that girl. You're like, nothing to do with productivity.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of human messiness involved in there too. I'm interested to hear what you think. We were talking a little bit before we hit record on the job market, and I think we're leading into this with sales and marketing people. It's fascinating, especially talent-based ones where you're talking about really great brands or really great marketing or talented salespeople
Mm,
where, do you care if a person works 3 hours a day if they're, crushing
making
4 times the quota of anybody else on the team, or what their degree is, or whether they spent, $250,000 to get an Ivy League 4-year degree, or whether they dropped out of high school at 16 and hustled as an entrepreneur and learned how to sell and started 4 businesses and, ran their own landscaping business to pay for their associate's degree. Uh, I think those kind of questions are fascinating, and I'm wondering what you think as far as the workforce goes. Are we going to need more people that are AI savvy or more people that are soft skills savvy, or is it from here on out you got to have both? There's no more opting out.
Oh no, I think eventually AI will probably get good enough where the only thing that'll be valuable will be the soft skills. Because if you actually
Mhm.
look at like how most operations run, 90% of it is just bureaucratic crap, right? Checks and balances, processes, like stuff that just takes taking this thing from here and putting it over there. That's all
Right.
robot work, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
so the only thing that'll actually matter is the relationships, the sales, the innovating, the care, because it's really, if you look at who's the best customer service rep, oh, it's Sally. Sally literally loves these people that we sell to. She knits, we sell knitting supplies. It's a match made in heaven. And so that, and then passion for the brand too, which I think is a really an undervalued thing, because honestly, how many people like their jobs and how many people believe in the thing that they're selling? So I think what it's going to lead to is companies matching up better with the people who should be working in the company. And that's really what I try to encourage people, because I'm like, you know what? If half the workforce in the United States statistically hates their job and they're spending 40 to 60 hours at it, how many health issues are we having? How many mental health issues are we having? How many, poor families that are falling apart because dad hates his job that he goes to every day for 12 hours? It's depressing. And honestly, if we can fix that, you'd probably fix 90% of the problem. So yeah, soft.
We have an amazing limited time offer that you won't want to miss. Introducing the Build Your Brand Pillars course from AI Branding Academy, your gateway to mastering both traditional branding and AI-powered marketing strategies. With this course, you'll gain invaluable skills in creating strong brand foundations that stand out in today's competitive market. Perfect for innovation leaders like you. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer before it's gone. Head to aibranding.academy.
It's sick. You and I have both done a bunch of research on this too. I just wrote a book called Playful Humans. The Kindle version is available up there, and it's about how to find your creativity, confidence, physical and mental conditioning that comes from play, and how we build cultures and all kinds of cool stuff just through our human creativity and confidence to break the rules and to try something new and to connect with other human beings. That there is a lot of answers that are human jobs as well. And I think sales and marketing are at the top of that list because of the empathy, the creativity needed, the rule breaking. I know from training salespeople for the last 14 years that there are a bunch of lone wolf creative rule breakers. We call it little professor in psychology, where they have this like inner child that, when you ask mom for a cookie and mom says no, you go ask dad to see if you get a different answer. Like, that's what salespeople are wired with. That AI is not yet wired with that sort of creative problem solving and tenacity and stuff. It's kind of programmed to go down the routes it's programmed to, and it doesn't have the ability to know when to read the room, when to break the rules, who to ask for that answer that you're more likely to get a yes from, right?
Oh yeah. Well, it's logical, and that's what makes AI powerful. Is it's logical, it's unbiased, it's not emotional, it's just processing information. Now, I think that's our inherent insanity, is really what protects us from AI taking over everything. Because to make the leaps in just the average person's thoughts, and if you think about yourself, like, I'm sitting at dinner, what am I thinking about? And you're like, oh, that guy cut me off in traffic, and I hate Prius owners. Like, man, they just can't drive. And then all of a sudden you're like out in the middle of nowhere. And if you ask the machine to do that, where you're like, I just need you to just come up with something based on something you did today, it's not going to be able to do that. So I think the fact that we are so random, that we are, our thoughts are chaotic, is actually just a barrier, where it's just like AI is not going to cross. You'd have to mush together a bunch of AI to disagree with each other to come up with one thought process that a human automatically does on accident, and not even trying. So and I think that's why I'm not super worried, because I've seen AI, I use it all the time, and I'm just like, no, it just sometimes it comes up with the dumbest stuff. It's like talking to a 5-year-old, and you're like, no, stop.
Well, it is. I mean, really, it's only a couple of years old, so
True.
we're talking a toddler version of it. I think what will be interesting is 5, 10, 30 years from now, if those things are true, and what some sort of AGI or general intelligence would look like, and if it will ever get there in some sort of sentient daydreaming creativity model.
If you look at iRobot, I think iRobot did a good explanation where it put two brains inside the same robot, and that's what allowed it to break the rules because it was essentially disagreeing with itself all the time. And I'm like, yes, that's how it would work, you know. And I'm super into sci-fi, so between that and like Westworld, where it's just like, you know, just the conditioning, and then the how many experiences can we give it? Like it actually does a great job of assessing, like, okay, here's how we'd evaluate a human, you know, is based on the control, and then the control and the controlled environment, and then repeating the parameters and finding out through experimentation, like, okay, here's who that person is because it makes the same choice as the person 99% of the time. But the amount of data, like that's the thing that people don't understand. It's just, just terabytes for like a nothing task, really.
Well, the energy usage and everything else, I think is fascinating. I think we will solve those technical challenges in our lifetimes, at least, to create that sort of processing, because we know that it's possible. I mean, we're biochemical machines that can process that on a little bit of oxygen, some food, and some water, and we can run for days. That's pretty impressive.
Well, now we have terrifying AI human hybrid machines. Did you read that about the brain cells?
You're going Matrix. No, I was trying to be happy.
Oh no, this is an actual thing they're doing. They harvested human brain tissue, and then they grew it in a petri dish, and then they plugged it into an AI and gave it a virtual body with now they're making robots that are powered by these lab grown.
You know, they're making those Terminator 2 robots where it's the size of a Lego man now, but it can melt down, like slide through a grate and reform on the other side through like quantum locking and stuff. I'm like, why are we, these weren't aspirational movies. Like if you want to remake one, don't pick Terminator 2.
Yeah, what do the med bed. Like do the cool, like nice stuff. No, and that's why, then you have the war tech that's coming out and you're just like, this is bad. Like I've read books about how this goes, and it's because a lot of times people don't understand that the reason why you don't have these monarchies that just kind of take over everything is because the human soldiers aren't going to kill their own families to support some dictator. But imagine it's a robot and it doesn't give a crap, and it's controlled by an AI that also doesn't give a crap. And there you go. Now we're in trouble. So, but
I think again, trying to be optimistic about it. And then I have a funny story for you too, but being optimistic about it. I listened to this philosophy video. I'll have to send it to you later on YouTube, where they loaded up the entire encyclopedia of philosophical, like ethical decisions humans have made since the beginning of history. It was just like you said, terabytes of data. And then in like the Notebook LM style, had it debate itself about human ethics and stuff. And it was fascinating because it highlighted the point that like AI robots don't have the emotions. Like they don't want to be a dictator. It's not in their nature. They don't have the greed. They don't have the other like need for power and control of like, we don't try to go dominate anthills. Like we don't care. It's so insignificant to us that it doesn't matter. And one of this great point was the AI was debating the human philosophy, and it said humans are funny. They make up words like consciousness, and then they spend decades or centuries debating what they mean. Like you don't even need that word. It's a meaningless discussion. It's like you made it up. You can make it mean whatever you want it to mean. I think it's a great kind of point of like, we are really messy in what we do, but that doesn't mean an AI overlord would be. It could be really clean and ethical, or not have these emotional ties into it.
The thing is, I think if anything, AI would be interested in more information, right? And if you look at the average human, like look at the average social media account, how much content is your average person not even trying to make? Like it's like an accident that they make this much content. And so I think another protection against the AI takeover would just be the fact that we create constant, nonstop information just automatically. Like we don't even think about it. Even when we're trying not to, that's actually a form of content as well. So
we're going way down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna pull us back here too, but
my job.
yeah, exactly. I was like, this is your show. I guess we'll go wherever you want to go. Okay, I have two thoughts here. One is Yes, I think the value of humanity in the universe is that we're running like 8 billion experiments at the same time, right? Of kind of the best way of live, the most value we can bring to the planet. And so you could argue that, some of these experiments are failures, but a lot of them are valuable, including the failures. Or you never know when it may have looked like a failure for 80 years, and then all of a sudden that 80-year-old person created something amazing. And so the long-term value of humans is significantly greater than I think we give us credit for. And then
Oh,
on the flip side, the joke I was going to tell you was they asked a park ranger at Yosemite National Park. They were having a lot of bears breaking into the trash cans, and they asked why they couldn't make a bear-proof trash can, and he goes, "Well, it turns out there's a considerable overlap between the smartest bears and the dumbest humans. So if we bear-proof a trash can, we human-proof a trash can for a large portion of our visitors." And I kind of feel that way about AI too, is that I don't think one has to be smarter than the other. There can definitely be some overlaps. There can be places where AI is smarter than humans and places where humans will always be smarter than AI. And there'll be some general intelligence that's smarter than our dumbest humans. And there'll be some smarter humans that will always be smarter or wittier or more ingenious than an AI counterpart. And that's going to be the cool part of it.
oh yeah. Well, that is a good note to end on, because I completely agree. Like it's I think it's funny because it's like, yeah, let's say AI could do everything. You think that if it took away all of our jobs, we would all sit around? Like, you think that that's your average person would just be like, oh, I guess I'm just watching AI TV all the time. It's like, maybe, yeah, there'll be a fraction of it. The rest of us are going to get super bored, and then we're going to create something just way out there. and then
Yeah.
and then we'll find out, what happens next. But I'm excited because I'm like, you know what, the more we could get rid of the BS work that we've all had to do just to maintain the technology itself, the closer we're going to get to actually finding out what we, should be doing all the time. So it's a good time. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. That's part of what I did in the book Playful Humans is start with this experiment of, imagine Elon with his plan to colonize Mars is successful. And in order to do that, we have to build everything to support human life on Mars before we send a human. We have to do it with artificial intelligent robots and other things, because otherwise you'd be sending somebody on a death mission.
Hmm.
Well, if we can do it on Mars, we can do it here on Earth. We could build everything we needed to support human life. And think about the amount of jobs and effort and things just to feed and clothe us all and build shelter and everything, that if we could use this AI power for good and for, like you said, taking off all the grunt work and the dangerous tasks. Like, we probably want an AI robot in bomb defusal in war zones and not a human, right? There are really cool things we could do, but it frees us up then to play, to be creative. Maybe it's arts, and maybe it's music, and maybe it's connecting with each other, and going on holidays and vacations and whatever you find fun and powerful for you to do. Explore the planet or something, because you don't have to worry about your food and the lower stuff on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh,
It'd be a really fun time to be alive, and I'm excited that I think this is going to be in our lifetimes.
oh yeah, for sure. Well, even the cooler part of what you just said is that AI could actually help you find those things, because everybody talks about like the art part of it, where it's like, oh, art's dead because AI could make pictures. It's like, no, the person who's been interested in painting their whole life can now generate AI images of the things they've always wanted to paint. And you think that's not going to make them want to paint more? It's going to make them
Right.
want to paint more. And now they're going to have a leg up on the profession, because now they understand how composition works or how color works. And also AI could train them how to paint properly simply by asking it to train them how to paint properly. So
Yeah.
it's even better than the free time. It's like, no, it's an infinite resource of learning, and now you have time to use it. It's a dream.
I love that, and that's what I did, and why I started this company at Avenue 9 is the variable cost of creating stuff has gone down to basically zero. the question then becomes, what do you want to create? Right? If you can make a podcast, say anything, what would you say? If you could, write a blog or a book about anything, what would you say? Like, we can make anything now, at least digitally. What do you want to make? What do you want to express? How do you want to reach people? Like, this is available for small businesses now, not just, crazy, Apple level businesses with trillions of dollars, but with these tools, you can now make anything that you want to make. So it's time to get after it and express yourself.
Yes. And that's really the barrier to entry that's been, eliminated in a lot of cases. So it's going to be fantastic. Thanks for coming on the show, Mike. I really appreciate your time. I know we go off on some tangents, but whatever, better short form splintering clips, right? And then people get on the episode, they'll be like, yeah, they talked about that for like 1 second. And then they onto the other randomness. I'm like, you know what? Human. That's what we did. We did humanness.
It was human. Yeah.
Where can people learn more about you and what you do?
Yeah, avenue9.com. Kept it pretty simple there. That's human first AI marketing, helping brands connect with audiences in whatever you want to make. High volume content marketing stuff. Then the book Playful Humans is out on Amazon, as I mentioned. 52 reasons to rediscover the power of play in your life for adults, to have more fun, flow, and fulfillment in your life and career. Passion project for me over the last 4 years, and it's been super fun. You can find that at playfulhumans.com.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll focus it next time or at some point in the future. But that was tons of fun. I love people who have good, ideas, and they're not just so, negative or even just so positive. Yeah. Most of the time it goes negative though. So I'm always like, yay.
Well, it's tough to talk about this stuff in a positive way without going negative and talk about the extremes. The answer's probably in the middle somewhere. And, I don't think anybody will argue that we had an AI write the script for this one. So we did our jobs. We created this stuff as a human.
5 AI argue with each other and come up with an outline for how this would go. No, this is fantastic. Thanks again for coming to the show. Definitely have you back on soon, and we'll pick a topic. We'll go narrow. We'll switch it up. This is like the intro to you, and so it's not bad. It's not bad to go everywhere. So thank you so much, Mike.
Love it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the AI Branding Podcast, where we talk everything branding, marketing, content, and AI. If you want more content like this, please subscribe.